Okay, this is today's topic 1C, function notation. So this is going to pick up right where we left off on topic 1B, where we introduce function notation, what is the input and the output and everything like that. So getting started here, this time instead of just one equation that I have listed for you guys, I've got four of them. So not only do we have to use this idea of function notation, we got to figure out which one to use. So first off, the way to figure out which one to use is just look at the letter that it starts with. So I'm going to underline this one that starts with an H. So I'm going to go find up in the equations the one that starts with H, and it's going to be the one that has h of x. So I have the h of x equals negative x squared plus 2x plus 5. Now, remember, this negative 4 is our input, and that's what we're going to put into the equation. And whatever we get out of after solving it, that will be our output. So the h of 4, negative 4 will equal whatever our output is. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. So h of negative 4 equals negative, now x squared, you're going to notice my parentheses here, negative, now parentheses, x squared, which is a negative 4 squared, plus 2 times a negative 4, plus 5. Now you just got to finish solving this. So bringing this down, this h of negative 4 stays the same out in front because that's just our output, telling us the output of that when the input is negative 4. So doing this here, we got to square the negative 4 first. So squaring the negative 4 gets us a positive 16. And that negative out in the very front is just going to stay with it. So we're going to have a negative 16. So you got to do your exponents first before you can do that, before you can worry about your signs there. So I'm just squaring the inside of the parentheses, and that negative just comes down with it. It's like a negative 1 times the negative 4 squared, whatever that is. So that's how it stays the negative. 2 times a negative 4 is going to be a negative 8, and then plus 5. And then just combining the rest together, we get h of negative 4, still on the left-hand side, equals negative 16 minus 8 plus 5. Well, that's going to be negative 24 plus 5, which is negative 19. So when you input a negative 4 in for your x value, you're going to get as the output negative 19. So here's example number 2. I want you to try this one by yourself now. So look, this one's g of 17 equals something. So I want you to try this one, pause it, and when you get done, resume the video. Okay, so picking right up here on this g of x equals, or g of 17. So we're going to use the g of x equation, which is that one right there. So we're going to have g of 17. So every time I see an x, I'm going to put in a 17 in this equation. This one here, we have the square root going on. Everything is underneath the square root. That's key here. So we're going to have 2 times x, which is 17, plus 1. And that's all underneath the square root. Now, before you can do your square root, you must simplify everything underneath. So on the left-hand side, that g of 17 is going to stay the same. And it's going to equal 2 times the square root. 2 times 17 is 34, plus 1. It's still all underneath there. Then the square root, or then we're going to simplify some more. So g of 17 equals the square root of 35. Now, you can figure out what that is as a decimal. All you got to do is type that in a calculator, okay? So whatever that is in the calculator, you're going to get, and you will actually get that this is going to be g of 17 equals 5 point, I don't know the decimal off the top of my head. Just type it in a calculator, but you should get 5 point something, okay? So the input will be 17 on that one, the x value, and the output, the g of 17 equals 5 point, and then whatever the decimal is from the calculator. Going on to the next one. I want you to pause this one again and try this one yourself. Okay, when you're ready to resume the video. Okay, picking up on this one, f of 6. So now we're going to use the f of x equation down up in this top right-hand corner. So we're going to have f of 6 equals the absolute value of negative 5 times 6. That's our x, plus 7. Just remember, every time you see that x, you're replacing it with a 6. And we're going to close the absolute value here. Now, absolute value is just like parentheses that we've talked about. So we're going to do everything on the inside first. So f of 6 equals the absolute value. Negative 5 times 6 is a negative 30. Plus 7 is going to come down, still in the absolute value. Then we get f of 6 equals negative 30 plus 7 is a negative 23, all still in the absolute value. The absolute value is the distance from 0. So how far is negative 23 away from 0? And that is a positive 23. So our answer is going to be f of 6 equals 23. Remember to write it in the function notation. You must write your answer as that. It's also kind of like a coordinate, okay? The x value is our 6. The output would be our 23. So if you think of it as a coordinate, it would be 6 comma 23. That's another way that function notation comes into play here. Okay, I got one more here for you. I got q of x equals 31. Now, this one's a little bit different, okay? Now, instead of me giving you the input, I give you the output. So think about where that would go in your equation. Okay, if I already give you the input, if I don't give you the input, I only give you the output. Think about this it's the opposite here. Give you a hint, 31 does not go in for x. It's going to go in for something else. Okay, so go ahead and try this, and this is where we'll pick up class from.